Picture this. You wake up and you look around and you see the sun coming through the window. You realize that you are in the plane and you're flying, but you see that something is weird because you see the sun coming in the weird angle. And from there, you start to look around because you feel suspicious. And you try to move, but your body doesn't necessarily respond. And while you're looking around, you see people dressing in white, and they are coming to you, and suddenly your body starts panicking. And the more you panic, the more you actually want to move, but there's no response. Your body doesn't respond, and these people are coming to you, and you just panic. This is me. This happened to me. I had a near death experience coming from a car accident, and this is my first memory. And when I tell you that this is my first memory, I couldn't figure it out what was present or past or future or nothing after. Everything was blank. The second time I wake up, I'm at the hospital and people are cutting my clothes. And once again, I look around, I have no understanding of what's going on. The only thing I see is the white people again coming through me. And again, this panic response of my body that wants to move and run away, but it just can't. And then everything goes white. And by the time I come back to myself and I have the first real memory or the consideration of what's going on with me, doctors tell me that I can't move. I injure my spine, I injure my head, and I'm in and out in my memory. My short memory is completely shattered. I have fractures all over my body. And from that day on, I don't know what my life is going to be because first, I don't know how to position in where I am. And second, I don't know if I ever going to walk again or do all the exercise that I'm used to do. This required me to rebuild myself. This required me to rebuild my body, to rebuild my strength, but also to rebuild my personality. Because the shocking thing is, once you have experience like this, time doesn't matter anymore. There's no past or present or future. You just have to figure it out who you are, not from the outside, not from the people around you. And there's no memories that tell you who you are. So you have to get in tune to what's inside of you, and from there on start reconstructing your personality. What I found out is while I was trying to heal my body and I thought that that would be the challenge, I found out that inside of me I've been carrying a lot of traumas and a lot of conflicts and a lot of situations that I silent over the years, and suddenly they came up and I had to do something about it. Nowadays I realize that life required me to be strong. And what I thought that strong was amazing, it also required me to stand by myself and always pleasing the others and this need of performancing. And most of the times, I would not even realize if it was important for me to do that or not. And a lot of women nowadays are exactly in this position where they have to be strong, where they have to provide for their kids, most of them alone, where they are stuck in relationships and these situations and environments that don't work for them, but because they have to perform and they have to stay there and they're so afraid to change, they shut down who they are. When I came back with a sense of helping others, dead to my karma kind of thing. So I made my mission to help women. They are alone, or they think they are alone and suffer in silence, trying to rebuild themselves. I use this method that is called return, where I invite women to create a safe space to recognize their survived patterns, to explore all their feelings and emotions, to tend to their body and their emotions, and to unlearn all the beliefs that society set on us. And from that, rebuild who they are and navigate who they feel inside them and get the chance to reclaim themselves. All I want is an opportunity to reach as many women as possible because we are not alone. We share so many emotions and so many similar situations, and society demands us to be alone where we shouldn't. We can help each others and create a better world and create a society where cooperation is valued more than stand alone.
So thank you
Perfect.
so much for coming online and sharing your incredible story with us today. It's fascinating how you found yourself unwell, having been someone who was very, very physical, and now depending on others for support. That couldn't have been easy.
No, it's not only not easy, but the fact that I didn't know it for how long I would have to live like that was devastating. There's no other word that I can use to describe. It was really devastating.
So take me back. I would like you to take me back to that moment when you said you felt like you were flying. Put us in your shoes so we can experience that just for a minute.
Absolutely.
When you realized you couldn't move, what did you see? What did you hear? What did you feel? And what was the first terrifying thought that went through your mind?
Well, it all started with the light. So I remember that I open my eyes and I see the sun coming through the window. So the first feeling like, whoa, I'm flying and I love flying. So I look around and I see this light coming through my face until, a few seconds later, I realize that I fly so often. It's like, this is a real angle. So how come the light is directly to my face, like shining down on me? Something is wrong, right? And this exactly moment that my eyes start to look around and try to figure it out. Why is this so different what it used to be? And while I look around, I see people in white coats coming through me, and I don't realize that I'm lying down. The only thing I realize is my body wants to move, right? It's like, oh, people are coming towards me. So now it's like, oh my God, what's going on, right? And the more they come close to me, the more I want to run away and I can't move. So it's a mix of feelings of panic. And now I panic even more because I panic because are people coming to me and I think they're going to do something is wrong. My brain is telling something is really wrong. These people are coming to me, what they are doing, where am I, and what's going on. So it's a mental battle that shatters you and screams on you in panic mode, and you can do nothing. So it's a huge feeling of, I don't know, you just can do nothing, and it's very overwhelming.
That couldn't have been easy. It would be quite challenging, especially because you were one of those people who was physically very, very active. Now, you were eventually told something that most of us can't imagine hearing. You were dead. What do you
Yes.
even do with a sentence like that? Take me back to who said it, where were they standing, and what happened inside you when you heard those words?
I'm lying down in the hospital in the bed, and I know that I've been on and off, awake, not awake. Some of the times they would dope me because I would wake up in panic, very excited. So they had to put me asleep because my body couldn't handle, I couldn't move, and my nervous system was all over the place. And I woke up a few times without knowing anything. So every time they would try to tell me something, I would forget. 2 hours later, I had no memory at all of someone talked to me. So the final or the moment that I finally was sitting in bed and I had the conscious that the doctor was talking to me and they were saying, you had a very bad car crash. And when we took you out of the car, you were dead. And I'm trying to freak you out, right? And he tells me, I know this is a lot to take, but I want you to tell you that, you are a little miracle. And honestly, if your body didn't have died on the crash, you never had survived. The fact that your body shut down was what allowed you to come back, because they say when you have an accident like this and you are awake and your body is fidget, you broke a lot of things. So I did had a lot of fractures, but if the body wouldn't had shut down when it did, I couldn't survive such a horrendous impact. So for me, it's like, oh my, I'm not sure if I'm happy or if I'm not happy. But a few minutes later, when he got out of the room, I felt this amazing feeling of gratitude for, get the chance to coming back and being alive and see my kids back, and suddenly a, a ginormous feeling of, oh my God, I could have been gone and no one would know where I was because I was in the middle of the road, so no one knew exactly where I was. And not what happened, and I would have been gone without saying goodbye. All the family is important, but at least to my kids, you really hit me, and I cried so much for gratitude.
You admitted that movement wasn't simply something that you did, it was part of who you are, or rather, who you
Mhm.
were. Who are you when the thing that defines you suddenly is taken away? What was the darkest moment after being told that you might never move normally again?
It's very challenging because suddenly I have small kids. I can't get out of the bed. Every step, even if I try to get up, my spine is fractured L2, L4. So the pain of it is, there's no words to describe. It's like knives they're entering your back every time you try to move. And I honestly had very dark moments where I not only would cry, but I'll think to myself, "Oh my God, what I'm gonna do with my life? Like, not only I cannot help my kids, but I also gonna have to have someone to help me." And to be very honest, there are moments that I didn't thought I could live like that. That was actually what made me search for a cure, a search for a way to overcome my challenge. But in the beginning, he really made me think that I was not sure that being alive was a gift. There were days that was exactly the contrary.
Well, there must have been a moment when the strong, stubborn athletes disappeared and you were simply scared. What happens
Absolutely.
when the woman who never gives up suddenly doesn't know how to fight? Where were you when you first thought, I might never get my old life back?
When I got home and my kids were so happy to see me and they would jump on me. And the first thing they did was hug me so hard. And the the spike of pain that I felt while they were hugging me was so high, but at the same time, I didn't want to tell them that they couldn't hug me. Like I felt a loser, honestly. I at one point I called my mom and I told her, if this doesn't change, we have to figure it out a way to fix this because I don't want to live like this. Like what's the purpose of that? It's not only that I don't know what to do, is I don't know who I am. A huge space of memory disappeared, more or less the latest 5 years. It also had an impact in the longest memory, but the short memory, 4 or 5 years, it's completely gone. And even the day to day, it's on and off. There's things that I'm gonna remember, but there's things that we're gonna have a conversation, and 2 hours later, I have no idea that we talk. So it's more deep than just what is gonna be with my body. It's like, who am I? What the hell I'm gonna do with my life? And what's going to be my future, and who am I in the past? So you just don't know. You cry a lot, and there were very very painful moments when you do this introspection, and you have the only thing you have is blank. It's a blank. And you torture yourself because you want to remember, and people come to see you and visit, say, "Hey, Sarah, how are you?" And you look to people, it's like, can you just go away? I don't know who you are, and I don't know how to remember. And people are all expecting to say, "Do you remember me?" And the only thing you say is just please leave because I don't know what to tell you. And you really don't. And it's frustrating. And sometimes I know that probably I was rude with people, but this heavy feeling of have to the need to disappoint, well, the fact that we are disappointing people and you just don't know what to do, and you just don't know what to do. That's exactly it. It's a blank. You just don't know what to do.
So you were essentially sent home during COVID with medication and you were told
Yes.
to live with it. But how do you accept this is my life now when every cell in your body is screaming no, what did those first few days at home actually look like?
Survival. The first few days were about trying to figure out, where am I? I came back to a house that I didn't feel that was mine. I was with a partner that I couldn't remember we were together. So the question that you asking comes later, because honestly, my first few days at home was, oh my god, I don't remember my partner. We had I had three kids. He had two kids, so altogether we had five kids. And his kids would come to me, and I didn't have it's not only that I didn't recognize, it came to me like if I was a second mother. Apparently, we've been together for 5 years, so these kids have actually a lot of affection for me. And for me, it's like, God, oh my God, what do I do with this? It's like you're meeting someone new, but someone that looks at you like he knows you for this long time, and they have all these memories of situations and love that you give them, and they give to you, and you just don't know what to do with it.
That's got to be tough.
Oh my God, was
Now,
really terrible. But not only for me, but for them too.
yeah, yeah. Now let's go back a little bit to your childhood. You confess that violence once looked normal to you because it was the world that you grew up in. But
Yes.
how does a little girl know something is wrong when wrong is all she knows? So take us back into a childhood moment that taught you to confuse love with pain.
My father was a very rigid man, and gave me a wonderful education because he was so stern on that. But loving in his language mean that if you do something wrong, you would beat us. We were still from the generation, me and my sister, that if you do a mistake, my father would just take his belt out of his pants and beat with us, and sometimes would be according with his interpretation of how wrong it was the situation. He could go very far. And I remember a few times that my mom had to intervene because he just had lost it. So later on, I understood that for me it was normal have a fight in relationship. It was super normal. My parents would fight all the time and get quite physical about it. And then you have all the society that tells you couples always fight. No relationship is a bed of roses, and you believe it. And for me, I really believe it. Families are not perfect, and families always fight, and families always kind of betrays each other. There's this myth that families are this way, and for me, it was real. Like, until I start to see other families. Later on in my life, I had the chance to have partners that have families that were dysfunctional, that were functional. And when I saw that, it really made me feel overwhelmed, first of it, because for me it was like, oh my God, they must be faking. They they don't fight, they talk about everything. They must be. I swear to God, at one point the feeling is like, oh my God, they must be faking of it, or it's because I'm here. Or And when you realize they are not faking, that they actually work that way, then you feel bad. Then you feel, oh my God, there's something very wrong with me, because I'm the one who went through all of this. So there's something really wrong with me. And you torture yourself, and you humiliated yourself, and it takes a huge amount of, I don't know, need of loving and reconstructing yourself to overcome that. And
Mm.
honestly, most of the people actually don't.
Now, you said that you never gave up on your children, your friends, or the people you love, yet you were willing to give up on yourself. Why are so many women lost on their own list? And what was the moment that you realized that you had been abandoning yourself?
Why do women do this? I think we are programmed for that. As a young girl, you are taught to cook, because you have to cook when you're bigger. And more than that, in Portuguese culture, you have to cook for your husband, right? And then you're taught to clean the house, and then you're taught how to, you're a teenager and you take care of the cousins or kids, because you're going to be a mother one day. You have to learn to do that. So we are constantly being educated to take care of everyone. And in our education, there's no teaching about how do you care about yourself over everything else. There's actually a massive gap in our education because no one tells you, before you provide to someone else, take care of you. And before you say yes to someone request, ask yourself if he feels good on you or not. No, we are educating exactly the other way. You're going to have a boyfriend. You have to please him. You have to make him happy because if he's happy, you're happy. And then you have your kids and you have to give to them because if you are a good mother, they're going to be a good kids. And maybe one day you will have the retribution of all of that. And that's the way you're being taught. As for the moment I realized this, it was quite recently, actually. I had a relationships that didn't work and, something wrong with me or maybe I don't deserve to be loved, like women that are meant to be with cats. I thought maybe I'm so different from the rest of the world that I'm meant to be alone until I met someone that really shook my world and I really loved them. And as I go through all this roller coaster of emotions, he was patient enough to one stand by my side and guide me through that and say, well, maybe you're wrong. And why do you keep thinking that you don't deserve me if I'm here with you? And why do you think that I'm gonna leave you? Because I have this syndrome of abandon. Everyone leaves me in my life. I don't belong anywhere. I don't belong with my family. So it's like sooner or later he's gonna leave me. So let's do this right sooner rather than later, because then later I'm gonna love him even more, and then I'm gonna hurt myself even more. One day he told me, when are you gonna realize that I'm still here and I chose you, and you are the only one telling yourself that you don't deserve love or I'm gonna leave or whatever it is, and here I am still still hanging around. And one day that really hit me. We had this conversation so many times that one day it really hit me. That we convince ourselves of our less value and we create this reality and we allow this panic to always overtake us. Like I said, one of the nights we were having a glass of wine and talking, and while he was talking, the words were kind of sinking, and I start to think, oh my God, he is right. He's still here. And it shows me every single time. And it's been months that he's here. And we went through some challenging situations. And I asked for help. I realized I love them very much. And I didn't want it to end up in the same cycle as before. I really loved them and I wanted to be loved back. And was exactly me that was preventing myself from all of this. And I think there's a lot of women with this issue. And we have this tendency to beat ourselves, and it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so true. It is so true. I'm aware that we have 10 minutes left, so I'm going to go into the rapid fire questions this time.
Perfect.
And I want you to answer them as quickly as you can without overthinking. What part of the old Sarah had to die?
The part that wouldn't allow herself to be loved, and the part that always had to be the woman made of steel and couldn't be vulnerable because she thought that if she would be vulnerable, someone would take advantage of her, and it's not the case at all. Vulnerability is such a gift.
What did trauma teach you about love that wasn't true?
Love is fighting and love is hurting, and no, you love but you hurt, and love and hate walk side by side together. What a wonderful life.
What are you still learning to forgive yourself for?
Oh, that's a hard one. Who I am. It's been a long journey of accept me the way I am. Unfortunately, all the traumas that I went through made me feel unworthy, made me feel small. And my last few years is exactly to reprogram that and have the chance of seeing me for who I am.
What are you still learning to forgive yourself for?
I'm going to be very, very, very honest. When I realized where I had this pattern of, sending people away, I thought that was people that go away. And I realized that was actually me that sent people away. And yes, I had a few messed up relationship in the beginning, but I also had the chance to had nice men in my life and I hurt them. Because I'm hurting, I hurt them. That really hit me. It took me, I think sometimes it still hits me a bit that I hurt people that I had no intention to hurt.
So, what's one thing that you will never tolerate again?
My voice. Whatever it is that I have to do, I have to be fully in agreement with. I'll never betray myself again.
What does your body know that your mind sometimes ignores?
What is best for me? What feels good? I think our brain is always more critical than our body. Our body knows what we need. Our mind is tricky.
What's the biggest lie wounded women tell themselves?
That they are alone. They are not. And they have to be strong for everyone. That's not true.
Who were you before the world told you who you would be?
I was this creature full of hope and energy that I used to see. No, actually, it's not a lie. I came back to that. I had this ability to create castles in the clouds and look to the world and see the best of it. And honestly, the last maybe 2 years, I got a lot of that back. And God, what a wonderful gift.
What would you tell the little girl you once were?
I see her, and she's amazing. And I'm very proud of who she is.
If you could erase one belief from every woman's mind, what would that be?
We are not enough.
Finish this sentence. Returning to yourself means?
Listen to the voice inside of you that whispers exactly what you need to know and exactly what you need to do instead of the critical, analytical voice of your head that is always criticizing you.
Wow. Thank you so much for coming online and sharing your story with us. Let me finish with two last questions, which are a bit of
Go.
a thought experiment. In the first
Okay.
question, I'm going to teleport you back in time to that little girl. If you could go back and give her 3 nuggets of wisdom based on what life
Oh
has
my.
taught you up until this point, what would those 3 nuggets of wisdom be?
First, to believe in yourself. The second one, never ever allow people to define her own value. And third, that she would be better building her own path instead of having people tell her what she would do and be.
Now let me teleport you into the future this time, and we're going to go and meet the 90-year-old you. She's sitting in her rocking chair, surrounded by her children, her grandchildren, but with your kind of energy, she's on the dance floor somewhere doing something physical. I could teleport you into the future to meet this wise woman who has led you up until this point. What will you say to her when you finally meet her?
That I'm very proud for the path that we walk. And I'm very proud that we still had this love, huge amount of love in our heart. And when we went through darkest time, for some reason, that love shone brighter, and we believe in it. Honestly, I would hug her and just say thank you for believing in love,
Oh, I love
either for the world or for the people. Or, oh my God, seriously, that's what I would do.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everybody
It's
for
a pleasure.
tuning in. The Her Story Circle is not just a podcast. We're a social impact movement that brings you the stories and voices of women from all over the world. We share these stories to uplift you, to inspire you, to energize you, but most importantly, to help take you from where you are now to where you're trying to go. So if you are a woman who is feeling stuck, who's feeling like you need to reinvent yourself, please reach out and get the help you need. Sara is here. This is what she does. She guides women on this journey to transformation. Or if you know somebody who is stuck, please tag them on this video. Share this video on your social media so we can reach more women as well. So I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And Sara, thank you again for this interview. Bye for now, everybody.